Hello, in this video we're going to discuss what it is actually like to be a knight. So there is a few things that need to be cleared up. It is not like any movie or TV show ever broadcast at all. So there's a lot of myths about knights and how we used to live, and in this video we'll just point out the reasons why. So firstly, knights did not use saddles at all. We used to sit in panniers, which is like a box which elevates your height and is attached to the horse through a strap. The horses wear armour, more armour than just a metal hat, a steel helmet. Completely covered in armour on the front and the sides and the rear, leaving the legs free to move. The knight's horses in England are the best breed, which are extinct on this day because of Satan. They stood at 7 feet tall or higher and were extremely powerful creatures. They would literally beat the pants of every racing horse on earth on this day. Even a knight in armour would win. That's how powerful the knight's breed of horses from England were. So regarding jousting, people think it was a gentleman's sport. No, it was not. The lance is fixed to the horse. You do not carry it or use your arm. You always carry a shield because the lance will go straight through your armour and kill you. It is a blood sport. If a knight is unseated in jousting, they die. They literally always died. The only exception is if someone had family there who were also knights. Because what would happen is, once a person got knocked off their horse, the crowds would move in and grab the knight and rape and torture and drown them. Steal all their armour, steal everything. The other knights would just sit there and watch and laugh in some cases. In other cases they get in there and kill people. So that's the difference about jousting. With melee, we're never on the ground. I always see movies with knights on the ground fighting with their sword and shield and people saying yield. There's no such thing as yield. With melee, it's always on the horse, and the idea is to knock the other guy off the horse using the sword and shield or whatever weapon that they're using. Again, when the person is knocked off their horse, they're dead. The crowds come in and grab them. Soldiers in particular, even of your own army, would come after the knight that's on the ground. They're always enemies with the knights. Same with archers. They'd always go after the knight that was on the ground and torture and kill him and take all his armour and money if he had anything. Some of them would try and get the horse and become a knight, and then the knights would go in there and torture and kill him for doing it. So as knights, we didn't like imposters, people turning up trying to be a knight. We just kill them. On this day there are people wandering around paying for certificates thinking they're knights. You're not a knight. Alright? And you'll find out why. There's no upper class system either. Back then, there was the king or queen, and there's the army and everyone else. No class system. Even during Queen Victoria's time, no class system. Society is completely different to the lies that have been spread through the media and through books. Combat. With combat is completely different to what people think. Knights never get off their horses We never ever take our helmet off. If you've got a helmet on, you leave it on. You fight with the helmet on. They had visors, and you would lift up the visor and use a wedge to keep the visor up only when you're eating or drinking or having sex with a woman. So everything is done on the horse. You fight while sitting on the horse. You drink and eat and cook food while sitting on the horse. You have sex while sitting on the horse. If you're going to torture someone for the king or queen, you do it on the horse. So how that is accomplished is you use a rope, pull the victim up the side of the horse, and do it there. That's how it's done in real life. We never ever get off there. There are some places where we could get off the horse, which were elevated so no one could get to us. We do it from there. And then you just simply get back on your horse. For squireship, it is brutal. So the squires are young people, young boys, who were, in some cases, they were the children of knights. But in most cases, they were just a child wandering around. A knight would go, I need help with this, get over here. The knight never gets off his horse, so you get the squire to do it. The squires wound up having to hunt, fish, and scavenge food for themselves and for the knight. They have to look after the horse and reshoe the horse. They have to clean the armor and the chainmail. When jousting, always wear chainmail, because chainmail protects you not just from sharp objects trying to get inside the armor. The purpose of chainmail is that if you should get a dent in your armor, the chainmail acts as an extra layer of armor, preventing it from going further. Otherwise, a dent in the armor can involve amputation or loss of life. Amputation always leads to loss of life anyway, in this sort of circumstance. So knights never trusted each other at all. They always used to kill each other, and they'd rob people. The squires in combat would hang out with the soldiers. They'd fight together, while the knights were in a different group fighting mounted on the horse. Use of the knight's horse in combat. The lance is used. It is attached to the horse, not to the rider, not to the knight. And it points downwards at head height. You can adjust them to go lower, but you don't want that. So you adjust it so the tip is at head height, which is about 5'4" from the ground. And as you move forward at full speed, the lance hits soldiers and archers in the face, and it makes the face explode. And blood and brains and everything go everywhere. The horse, upon contact with people such as soldiers and archers, just trample them. They bowl them clean over, and you can't get out of the way of them if you're in a formation. So smashing through a formation as a knight is very simple and easy. So with the archers, a flanking maneuver is something that would catch them by surprise, and he could wipe them out in one pass. So a group of knights could wipe out thousands of people, like 15,000, in one pass, wiping out an entire formation of archers. It's a very, very effective weapon system. They just group together and just charge through. In combat, knights always fight knights first, and the soldiers and archers are held to the rear. And so that's an introduction to what it is like to be a knight. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.